Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another Marvel Snap video. In this video, we're going to be looking at 4 decks for Darkhawk and High Evolutionary. The great cards and the both in Spotlight catches this week. Each of those cards is going to have a deck with Legion in it, just to cover the ground of Legion, in case you were aiming for High Evo and you got Darkhawk, you got Legion, or if you're aiming for Darkhawk and you got Legion, or if you just wanted if you wanted all of them. Legion seems to be a card that doing better than people thought on day one. Darkhawk, great card, has been since it came out. A little worse with Limbo, but you can play around that. High Evolutionary took some nerfs, but isn't dead, still good. So let's first start with Darkhawk, right? In case you, for some reason, you don't know what Darkhawk does, he's a 4-0, ongoing, plus 2 power each card in your opponent's deck. So your idea is to put stones in the deck, right? This is why, with the magic change, Darkhawk's 2 power less most of the time, because you're going to go to turn 7. But, you know, there's ways to play around that. So, the first deck up is a Dino Hawk. This way, it gives you more win cons. So, if they've got extra turns, you can benefit from the collector more random cards. So you make up for the lack of power on Darkhawk by also having a big dino and being able to play a lot of random cards. So you've got like Quinjet, Collector, Hill, Coulson, Fury, and White Queen to all add cards, and you've got the Zabu, Korg, Darkhawk, Rock Slide. So yeah, so you've got Dino, Collector, or Hawk as you win cons, and you've got the random cards from Fury as well to help. Okay, very good deck. Easy, consistent, kind of cheap, and by cheap I mean like other than Darkhawk, everything else is Series 3, right? Yeah, so, oh no, and Zabu as well. I don't know what Zabu is anymore. I'm not sure if it's 4 or 3. Next up we have a stats list. This kind of fell off a little bit, but it's also now back on the thing, back up, making its way back up the meta right now because it fell off because it didn't deal with kitty stuff, but it's still a good deck. So you know it's a good deck stuff. So you've got your Darkhawk package, and then you've got Stature Black Bolt in here, Killmonger to deal with all the ones, Enchantress for all the ongoing, Shang-Chi for anything big, Miles because you've got Jeff in here. You can drop Miles because you've only got one move card. You can drop Miles for pretty much anything, right? It's a very open spotlight. The Killmonger and the Miles are your flex spot. I normally run Silk over Jeff myself, but Jeff's better because you get more control over it. Good list. Next up we have a Sarah list, so this just kind of covers everything. So it's like a full miracle list with Zabu and Sarah in here. You've got Luke Cage to deal with any negative locations, any high evil stuff, and then you've got your Darkhawk package again, with Enchantress in here, and Shang-Chi, Iron Lad, and then you've got Sarah, Cosmo to stop any shenanigans, Mystique for double Hawk, double Cosmo depending on the matchup, Killmonger to deal with any ones again. So this is a really fun list. If you get Zabu down and Sarah, you can play 3 4-drops in the last turn, which could be like Enchantress, Hawk, Slide, or Darkhawk, Rock Slide, Shang-Chi. You probably played Rock Slide earlier, so it could be Darkhawk, Shang-Chi, Enchantress. You know, plenty of options. Lastly, this is the Legion list, so it's very similar to the other lists. The stats, like the thing is, these lists are kind of very similar, but the top end's different, right? Because the Darkhawk package is Korg, Zabu, Darkhawk, Rock Slide, and then you're probably putting Shang-Chi in here, and you're probably putting Iron Lad in there. So that's 6 of the 12 cards that you're probably putting in here. With all the ongoing right now, the Living Tribunal stuff, you're probably putting Enchantress in most of them. So that's 7 cards. Then you're wanting a 2 and a 3. The 2 probably Jeff or Silk in my case. And then a free, you probably want a free. You've got Killmonger, deals with all the ones. So it's like it's very similar, and then the top end is the one that changes. So this has got Legion, Darkhawk, and Shavaz. I've got Ox in here to break up all the combo decks that are going on right now. And then so you can pull all the ongoing stuff, then hit with the Enchantress. Shavaz, so you get better draws. Legion in here is more of a control type thing. If you get ahead on 5 and you can pick a good location that you want, you can use that to your advantage. Say the one that adds 5 rocks to your deck. Great for Dark, alright? Energy, buffs. You're using this as another way to get ahead. Or you can just Darkhawk them. You know, you got options. Very fun list. Okay, now we'll go on to High Evolutionary. Okay, so let's get on to High Evolutionary. In case you don't know what High Evolutionary does, it's a 4/4 at the start of the game. Unlock the potential of cards with no abilities. So that's like your Wasp, Cyclops, Thing, Hulk, stuff like that. Okay. So, first list is just a standard lockdown list. So you've got your 1-drops into Storm, Cyclops on the Storm lane, then you can skip, and you've got Professor X and Spider-Man to lock down a lane, and Doom to reach those lanes. Looking at the list, I would probably cut Wasp and put Armor in here, because I've just realised how much Killmonger I put in the Darkhawk list. And so I would make a change to this list. Maybe rather get rid of the Wasp or the Thing for an Armor to protect your 1-drops. Okay, next up is a Lockjaw deck. I know it got a little nerf, but still, it can still put out a lot of power. You just make up for the lack of power on Hulk by getting a bigger boy like Infinite and Dracula out here, so that you can get another extra big card. So standard stuff, you know, you get your 4, your Lockjaw, your Jubilee, get cards out, and then you get a high roll Lockjaw. Next up is like a She-Hulk list. This is aimed at just skipping as much energy as you can and trying to force as much limbo as you can by just, you know, your magic, the lane, then you got your 1s and your armors. You could put Legion in here so you protect your 1s, your magical lane, you skip turn 6, you play She-Hulk, Infinite. If you can squeeze in a Moon Girl on 4, great. And then you could skip 6 into double She-Hulk, Infinite. Maybe Abomination if you've got some stats down with Cyclops. Who knows? And lastly is a Legion deck. This is aimed at storming all the lanes and then Legion in it. Again, looking at it, you maybe want an armor to protect. So, I mean, you do have a lot of 2s for some stats and Cyclops down, so you should be fine. But if you've seen a lot of Killmonger, you could easily drop a card for armor. You got Shavaz in here because you ideally don't want to play turn 6, so you just want the rest of your cards out. If it works well, you know, you've Stormed, you've Legioned, and then there's no turn 6. You've got Jeff and Silk down, or your 1-drops down, or Cyclops down. Pretty good idea. Like, hopefully it does well. There's another Legion deck, and that's the last deck for High Evolutionary we've got. As with all the decks, they are flexible. Like, as you can see while I was going over the decks, I was thinking of ways to already change them. Noticing how much Killmonger I put in, so the High Evo, you probably want armor in there. The decks are open. That's what is good about Snap. There's no perfect 12 card. There's a lot of decks that are probably like 10, 11 cards that you really want, but there's always at least 1, 2, if not more, flexible spots, which you can make a deck feel your own. Maybe there's a card in the deck you don't like, swap it out. Just be flexible. Do not just copy paste everyone's decks and then be like, oh, it doesn't work for me. Look at the cards that are key in that deck and the ones that are flexible, and change the flexible ones if you like the idea of the deck. It's what is the great thing about this game. And anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next one. Peace.